How's it going, guys? So we're just doing a wee video here. I just did a course yesterday here in the Isle of Man, just a nutrition course. So we're just going to flick over the notes. There was a lot of good information in that and just something to think about. So it's just Sunday morning here, so not just too fresh, but we'll just go over a few of the notes and just hopefully give you some decent information and something to think about. I have the flash on, so it doesn't blind, but it still reads okay. So they were just talking about a lot of kind of facts and things like that, so I have any of them highlighted. Just talking about how the US spends more on health than any other country, yet 42 million of zero healthcare. There's 3,000 per person on healthcare in New York and $38 in Shanghai. So just a few interesting facts there. In 9 years in medicine, a doctor apparently on average gets 2 hours of nutrition education. So there's a lot of information there just about doctors and things like that. And just in the last 100 years, how cancer and diabetes have risen from 3% and diabetes at 0.1% to 20%. I'm just talking about how the Western diet has, made all this happen. So it's just something to think about when you compare, and they did a lot of comparing of the Western diet to other cultures and things like that. So then they had a topic, the presenter was nutritional bollocks, and just talking about all the bullshit that's out there in nutrition. So there'll be a few who maybe get a bit cranky about these, but sure, these are the facts. Nutritional practices that produce fat loss at the expense of health, which is 99% of diets out there. Nutritional practices that encourage the consumption of low nutrient foods. So again, anything that has E numbers and 20, 30 ingredients in it isn't a high nutrient food, even though it might be fat loss or a certain amount of points or whatever. Nutritional practices that encourage the drinking of meds like skinny shakes and all that sort of stuff. Again, that's bollocks. Nutritional practices that require you to monitor calories, count points, or weigh foods. Calories in versus calories out is still very popular, but again, they weren't very. They were just saying about how that's all bullshit, and you really want to be getting away from that. So then, a couple of points there would probably describe 99% of diets out there, and that's why obesity and everybody's overweight and all these sort of problems. Okay, so you can argue all you want, but you can't argue with the facts now, to be honest. Okay, so a lot of these things are taken from a lot of studies, even they're talking about the 4 grams and the 9 grams of fat and things that people talk about. And they made an interesting point then, that these are compared to averages, but again, you have to remember what's average, when you take in a person's age, their gender, sex, their physical fitness, muscular size, injury status, psychology, the whole list of about 20 things there. I wasn't bothered writing them all, but you kind of get the point. And as it says there, research is all about the average person, but nobody believes they are average. Okay, so just go on to a few other things here. Following the ED diet, 80% got results. Just elimination diet, basically just cutting out the crap. Obviously it gets more detail than that, but that's kind of it in a nutshell. And he had your man Sam that took it, and he's actually writing in Men's Health now for a couple of months. He was talking about a client lost 9.7 kilos in 3 weeks. No weights, just on the diet. That's 21 pounds. So 2 pounds a week is another nutritional bollocks. Compare a 20 stone woman to an 8 stone woman. So again, as many people always say, 1 to 2 pounds a week is all you should be losing, and I kind of believe that. But after seeing even our 7-day diet and other programs, it's a load of shit, because how do you know what people have been eating? If they've added on a load of weight over a certain period of time, then surely they can lose more than 2 pounds in a week. So, there's nothing kind of wrong with that. The solution to pollution is dilution. So again, you want to cleanse with water and drink plenty of water. So you always hear that. Any proper diet, you really want to be drinking plenty of water. And this is kind of interesting here, just talking about 21 to 30 days to break a habit, 40 to 60 days to start embedding another habit, and 80 to 120 days for others to recognise the habits in somebody else. So again, that's kind of thinking maybe we need to kind of add maybe a longer term program instead of a 7-day. So it might kind of change an introductory program and then a more long-term program. If it fell from a tree, grew in the ground, swam in the sea, flew in the air, then you can eat it. Pretty simple, self-explanatory, and most crap that we're eating doesn't fall under those kind of barriers. This is your stress bucket that most people. So you can just see, you're getting a lot of stress from food. The shit that you're eating is putting you kind of maybe depressing you, and it's getting your insides and all kind of messed up, and just kind of putting you in shitty mood, and just bringing up your stresses. Then the quantity of food, you're eating too much of it. Your postural, physical stress, you're sitting too much, laying about too much, light and sound, too many lights going on, dehydration, just not enough water in a lot of ways. And psychological, mental, then just, relationships and work and all that stuff. So these are all pretty much easily changed. Eat clean and just the amount you need. Exercise more, turn off a few lights maybe late at night, drink more water, and try and get shitheads out of your life. Pretty much changes all that stress bucket. So the shit you add to this overflows and overweight, breaking down, and a lot of this you can spike cortisol and all these hormones, and can leave you very bloated, and obviously you've comfort eating and all that sort of crack as well. So there's so much conflicting evidence supporting everything that it's so hard to know. That's a bit of a random note thrown in there, but you kind of get the point. Like, it can be hard to know what's what a lot of the times. But here's another good thing: lamb sips, etc., just deepening your flu and cold. So you might kind of take these drugs and whatnot, or not drugs. You take these things, but they're kind of pushing the flu down, and that's why you see people and they're on these things for ages. Personally, anytime I do get a bit run down, which is the only time I ever get run down is over Christmas when I'm drinking and eating shit. But I always make sure just to keep taking me nutrients and getting decent, at least some quality food in to get the nutrients in. And if you just, at the new year there, I had a bit of a dose as well, but I just made sure to drink plenty of water and get the nutrients in, and now a couple of days later I'm the best, so it says a lot for all that stuff. NB was, so this book, the guy wrote this book, basically using all these tribes in South America and Asia and the Far East, all these tribes, and discovered that when the Western diet came to these parts, their health went to shit. And they had actually photos of generations of eating their teeth, because they had very good teeth, and then generations of eating crap and all this, the teeth kind of went. So there's kind of a lot to be said. I'll just flick through these pages here of anything highlighted. Another good point was body sprays, beers, bottled water can be big with xenoestrogens that mean you deposit fat in certain areas. So if you're having a problem maybe with bingo wings, things like that, it might just be kind of worth thinking about or looking at. I'm just flicking through here. Another good point they made was, when you feel you're run down, you need a Mars bar or something for that quick energy fix. He was basically saying there's no way that you can use these sugars and bar food to pick you up. It's physiologically impossible. So again, there's probably a lot of argument and debate to that, but it's worth thinking about. If you think you're going to eat a Mars bar or take a certain couple of sweets or something, and next thing you're fit to play a football match, you're fit to do a workout, you have to wonder, like, how long does it take for that food to go into the body, be digested, and all of a sudden be used as energy? I'm sure it's not as quick as people think, and I'm sure there's a lot of placebo effect of that. A person may be getting over sickness and then getting another, and be all poor me, but instead of cleanse and clean diet, they're just popping pills and messing about. I actually know a lot of people that do this, and there's no talking to them because they know it all. But it's absolutely stupid. Like, these people that keep getting sick, and it's all like, oh God, I just had the flu and now this and now that. If you'd quit popping pills and start cleaning up your diet and quit eating shit, then that problem take care of itself. But there's no talking to people. Another good point was 1 litre of water for 25 kilo body weight. So again, we're saying that you can't personalise everything, was kind of the point of the day. So, you can't just say you need to drink 3 litres when, people might weigh differently and whatnot. But that's a pretty good guideline, 1 litre of water for 25 kilos. So again, most people will be around the 75 kilo mark, so I suppose that's where the 3 litres comes from. But again, just kind of calculate that and take it from there. Basically, and this was my take home message of the day: eat clean, drink water will sort out 95% of your health problems. I suppose you could throw in exercise in there as well, but eat clean, drink water and exercise will sort out 95% of all problems. And that was the big takeaway of the day, and something that you're definitely worth thinking about. Regarding going to the toilet, should be one in and one out. We'll not get into too many details there. He has seen guys, again, is going into muscle building. A lot of people want to be looking at a lot of guys with one. And basically him and Dax Mai, who runs this course and would be one of the top trainers in the UK, the same guys bulk up more at 2 average meals a day than 5 to 7 big meals. So the 5 to 7 big meals is big in the bodybuilding, and I was doing like a bodybuilding course there, and I kind of was in all that. But again, it gives you something to think about, that guys are still building muscle and bulking up at 2 average meals, not big massive meals, but 2 average meals. That is definitely a big area of debate, and has caused big debate, but it's definitely worth something to think about, like, because I'm sure a lot of lads would like to hear that. Eating loads is very taxing on the body and internal systems. That's where intermittent fasting comes in, and you just want to kind of give your whole insides and the internal systems a break. Ultimately, lift heavy shit to grow muscle. It's obviously with good technique and all that, but there's a lot to be said for that too. The second time he done the 3-day fast, he could have went a 4th day. It just shows the first time round is always the toughest. So we done a 3-day fast, so a complete 3-day fast, 3 days, and for the first time around he did it. He found it very tough going, I think Sam was saying, but then he started eating again, and he went back to a 3-day fast and found it a lot easier, and he could even went to 4th day, which just goes to show, as always say, getting started is the hardest part. Sometimes you just have to kind of slog it out, and it does get easier and get better with all these programs and intermittent fasting. So yeah, I was thinking of maybe changing our program to get people to do the day program without the intermittent fasting, as it's very taxing a lot of people. So that's just kind of a few things to think about. Again, there's no one thing you do learn as you go to more of these courses. There's maybe no right or wrong answer as such. You just have to see what works for you and just kind of check it out, and just kind of play about it. But the most important thing is that you have a clean diet and you're not eating shit. And clean diet just means clean. It doesn't mean the low fat foods or the low fat, low sugar, but anything that has a load of ingredients on the back isn't clean. It's rubbish, and you need to be getting rid of it. And again, you just have to be wary of pharmaceutical companies, and they're just mad to get people popping pills, and it means more money for them, when really there's not need for as much of it. I'm sure there's need for a certain amount of it, but definitely nowhere near the quantity that it's going out at. So hopefully that's a bit of food for thought and gives you something to think about. So thanks for watching. Chat to you later.